Hi guys, Gina here with another sketch layout for you. This is day 11 of Christy's Beautiful Life's 30 Days of Sketches, and there's the sketch right there. I apologize that there wasn't an intro to this video. The video file got corrupted, so we're going to just do it on the fly here. This sketch calls for 3 rows of pattern paper, and I looked through my scraps and couldn't find scraps that I wanted to use, so I pulled out this paper pack and I decided to use that. I'm trying to force myself to use colors that I don't use all that often, and so this mint or seafoam green and brown is a paper combination, a color combination that I wouldn't have put together myself, but this kit did. So I'm hoping that with using the kit, mixing pattern paper won't be as problematic for me as it normally is. But as you'll see throughout this video and as I'm flipping through all these papers, it's becoming a problem. I struggle so much with mixing pattern paper. I really need to take like some classes about that or watch some videos about that. So if you have any that you really like, I would appreciate if you'd leave the link in the comments so that I can check them out, because I struggle with this so much. So I decide that I'm going to use that 3x4 card with the camera on it that says captured as one of my one section of that pattern paper on the sketch, and then I'm going to use that brown and dark brown like floral pattern there also as a part of it. And I thought I was going to use this brown and white striped paper for my background, and I don't like it, and I'm going to try all of these different background papers before I choose the one that I really want. That one didn't look bad to me, but it still wasn't what I was looking for. I tried it on this arrow paper. I'm just looking through all of the papers, and I wanted to use a lot of this brown paper, but it ends up that I don't use as much as I wanted to. I'm going to take a look now at that film strip paper, and I decide that that is the one that I'm going to use. And I definitely wanted to use that zigzag paper because it included all of the colors that I wanted to use on the layout, so I felt like that would pull everything together, using the brown and the seafoam green and the black and all of those sort of things. So I'm going to cut that, and unfortunately I don't cut it straight, and when you're using this sort of zigzag paper, to not cut it straight creates a huge problem with your eyes. At least it does for me. So I needed to cut this several times. Yep, not that one either. I'm going to cut it again. And then a third one I think I'm pretty happy with. I think it's a matter of, it's like a visual illusion, an optical illusion that these are not straight because of the zigzag pattern, but I just play with it so much and I end up cutting this paper so many times. So I'm going to have lots of scraps of that to use on a future layout. I'm going to put that all to the side, and again, I'm just following the sketch. I know I wanted to use that captured card, so that's going to take up 2 rows of that pattern paper, and then I just need to fit in other pattern papers around that to make the background. I really like this paper that says love. I'm scrapbooking a photograph of my brother and his son, and they're both looking to the left, and they both have the exact same, facial expression. So I really liked that photograph, and I wanted to scrapbook it, of course. So you'll see the photo in a couple minutes. So I'm happy now with my background papers, and I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paste them down. Oh, before that, I'm going to ink them all with some brown ink just to give them a little bit of definition. And I'm using one of those Prima chalk ink edgers. I love them things. I'm glad I found them in my stash because I really enjoy using them to edge papers. I think they work a lot better, especially if you're just inking the very edge and you don't want that to go in very far. I find them to be very helpful. And like I said, I don't know, I said in another video, I don't know if they sell them anymore, but I really love them. So the photo in the sketch is 4x4, so I had to cut a little bit of my brother off to make this 4x4, but if you see, they're both looking the same way, and they have the same expression on their face. It was so funny to me. I'm going to mat it on a piece of black cardstock just to make sure that it sticks up out of away from all those pattern papers that are going to be underneath of it. And then I'm going to place these pattern papers where I want them as part of my background. And to me, that zigzag paper still looks crooked. Like I said, I think it's an optical illusion because I measured it several times, but whatever, it's on the layout now. I think in the end it all works because I cover up enough of that zigzag to make it okay. But this last piece that I'm going to put in there really didn't need to put in there at all. I found out that my papers didn't line up all that, they didn't line up correctly, and so I had to place my photo in a way that would cover up that gap. And then there was a gap between that floral paper and the love paper, and so I just used my Sharpie to go in and color that small little space in so the gap wouldn't be as noticeable. I did this layout at like 2 o'clock in the morning, so the fact that I got a layout done at that hour at all was pretty funny to me. I added this my favorite sticker, and I thought that I was going to add that banner right there, but I ended up pulling that off in a minute. I like the picture this and the captured together. It says picture perfect, I'm sorry. Pictured perfect and captured. I really like that because the photo to me is perfect. It shows both of their personalities. They tend to be pretty similar in their mannerisms and things like that. So I wanted to title this Like Father, Like Son, and of course I had to write those words down so that I could spell them backwards, because otherwise I don't know what order these letters would end up on the scrapbook page like. So I'm going to just spell them out. There we go. And I'm going to put like son at the bottom. And as you can see, and as you know, one of my pet peeves, if you watch a lot of my videos, my pet peeve is floating letters. So that's not going to stay like that because it's floating right now and it drives me insane. It would have looked fine, actually. Looking at it now, it would have been okay because there are the lines on the background paper, but I don't know. I have a pet peeve about that. But actually, it would have looked fine. I like what happens in the end, what I did with it, but that actually would have looked okay. It's always funny to me when I'm scrapbooking how things look, and then when I come back and I look at the actual video footage of it, it turns out that things would have worked that didn't work. On the sketch, the photo has washi tape, like looking like it's holding it down. So I used 2 pieces of this wood grain washi tape to put on the photograph, and then I put a piece of washi tape down under that like sun because now it doesn't feel like it's floating to me. Now I pulled out my family embellishments, and I'm just going through them to see which ones I want to use. And I pulled out this one that says Making Family History, and then I'm not sure what else to use. I thought I might use that family. I have these that say Dad. One says Perfect Dad. I thought I might use those. I'm going through these Mambi books to see if there's anything on those I want to use. And it turns out, funny enough, that for all of the family embellishments I have, I couldn't really find ones that matched, but this wood veneer definitely did. So I decided to use that. And then I thought, okay, I'll use some hearts on this layout. And I thought I was going to use some wood veneer hearts. I thought about those burlap hearts there. And then I decided on these white hearts here, but I didn't want them to be white. So I'm going to take a Copic marker in an alcohol, it's got alcohol ink, so the color shows up very well on a lot of things. And I don't use my Copics very often. This is pretty much the only way I use them, which is sad. Maybe if I made cards, I would use them more, and maybe I'll get into that because I own a lot of Copics, but I don't use them. I got them when 2 peas in a bucket was going out of sale, and they had them on sale for pretty cheap, as cheap as Copic markers would, inexpensive is what I'm saying. Not really cheap, but inexpensive. More inexpensive than spending $6 on every marker, which I wouldn't have done. I got them in sets, and they were, when 2 peas in a bucket was going out of business, they were a good price to pay for Copic markers, so I picked them up then. And I'm just coloring these hearts. I'm going to paste the hearts down, and that's going to be the end of the layout. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.